say about that? You know, we got 6 people on here and everything. You know, 7 people on here and everything. We can spread this thing out and everything and start stirring some stuff up, man. I'm telling you, I'm willing to do something to put this into flourishing, okay, to make it happen and everything. So I don't let no grass grow under my feet. So anybody want to come up and give me their comments? Anybody else want to say what's your thoughts on this, Mr. Miles? Come on, man. Dr. Joshua, come on now. Yes, I hear you. I hear you. Come
Okay,
on, I
yeah,
want to
let's
hear.
have some
I want to
have
hear
some.
what other people think about us taking this word and say, "Never is good, great, ever to be repeated." So you're gonna make the correction in there. You're gonna add it in so it be, as they say, uh, chromatically written.
Bro.
Yeah, yeah. You know, don't be laughing. Don't you be laughing at me, man.
Bro, you in the English language. I
Hey,
got a
I
special
hey, brother, I
relationship.
didn't grad, I didn't graduate from high school, bro. Hey, I ain't no shame in my game
Y'all
at
got y'all
all.
got a special relationship, bro.
Yeah,
It's all
that.
good. It's that
Negro,
Neutron language.
Negro. I got a question for Negro. I have
Go
a
ahead,
question
Carl.
for Negro.
Yeah,
What's the
Negro here.
difference between N.I.G.G.E.R and the G.G.A?
Ain't no
Thank you.
difference from where I'm from. I see. Again, ain't no, and the same thing. I got on my school backside for having a ninja icon. Told him I don't think there's no polite way of saying the
Right,
N word. The N word, the N word where I'm from.
right,
And if you're not from my culture, we're gonna be fighting.
right.
We're gonna be fighting.
Well, you, you, you
And
gotta
I'm gonna
ask
make
that. You
sure
gotta
that I'm
ask
gonna
that
make
white
you feel.
man in Kentucky, that teacher in Kentucky. Y'all remember that news report? You gotta ask
No.
him. Gotta ask him. Well, remember he said, "No, I said nigga."
No, I didn't hear about that. What
Go
happened?
ahead, Negro.
Yeah. You already know what I'm saying with that. I got in altercations with especially with those Latinos. Um, um, especially with the Latino people about that. I don't like that at
No,
all.
no.
I will get in altercations at, and if it's a certain demographic, yeah, I might smack a 20-year-old for saying that. For real,
Yeah,
You know,
I'm almost 40. I'm almost 40 because that's like I got into it with a woman calling people calling me the word boy. So I'm
right.
from that. I'm the
So you
it's the
just
reason
you
why
ju- you
I
just look
say
at
niggas though. I say nigga.
no
N-E-G-U-S.
I don't say anything of that. I try to refrain
nah. I
from it.
don't
If
think
I
Yeah,
so.
but
say
that,
that,
but that. I
if I
mean, but
say
that,
it, it's
but
because
I,
I'm really frustrated or something like that, or
See,
frustrated with the person. But outside of that, I don't want to make it a habit or a thing
right,
because one, I grew up in an integrated neighborhood that opens up the where anybody thinks
right.
it's culturally acceptable. So I
Yeah,
ran a little bit differently.
nah,
And I took it always as not as a term of endearment, as a
right,
term of disrespect.
right,
Because if you respect me, you wouldn't be saying that to me.
right,
If
right.
you
Nah, I
respect
mean, if you want to say it around your family, your friends, just don't say it in front of me. Don't.
me,
You have no. There is no safe zone for you to stay that way. And
but negus is a a
you talking about the
a,
historical
a
and yeah,
historical
with Egypt,
supreme
yeah.
ruler word. That was a
we
tribe.
right. We're not talking about we.
We're
If
not
you want,
no, we were talking. You're talking about the origin. We're
I'm just
talking
saying
about the word.
that's what I say.
No. We're talking about the word that they use to whip Negroes,
right.
murder black folks, lynch them.
We
No.
talking.
I don't even
Whenever
play
it's
Yeah,
used
I
in
know.
around
a
We're
with the
talking about the
aspect.
term of endearment that melanated people have taken from the white man that gave it to them. Because we have a messed up relationship with our abuser, nonetheless. But yeah, I say negus, um, N-E-G-U-S, and enunciate it that way just the same.
yeah,
Uh,
but if you using it in a way in a derogatory way, then you still referring to N I
But
G
if
G
I if
E
I
R.
look if I look if I'm talking to you and I say, "Hey, what's up, my niggas?"
No,
You know what I
no,
mean?
see, no,
That's
see,
niggas of the royal kind.
no, no,
No,
no,
man. You don't
no,
even.
no,
Yo, this
brother,
day and
no,
age.
brother.
Okay,
Wait,
you know,
wait.
wait. Oh, hey, you know dang
Yeah,
well
brother,
that
we
these
ain't
people
even
ain't
going
reading no
down
book.
like that, bro.
They ain't reading no books the way that they
Brother,
used to. They ain't
brother,
moving.
we, Joe, yeah, and you
I can,
clowning,
hey,
right?
I can even throw the accent in there.
Yeah, I know,
What,
yeah,
what
but
is
you,
good,
No.
my niggas?
but you,
Hello, my niggas. Oh.
nah, Joe. All right, Joe. You know, you acting like a
He's about to
tether.
lose that. He's about to lose that
Yeah, you
co-host
let you
spot.
about yeah, you
Oh.
about to lose that coat, your host spot up there. I was like,
I'm,
yeah, all right. No,
Hey,
hey,
nah, I mean,
no,
yeah,
hey,
yeah,
this the the Africans,
yeah, I
hey, my
know.
niggas.
No,
Oh.
hey,
No,
no.
hey.
no. Hey, we gotta wait. Let's really talk about that now, because I'm a transatlantic baby, right? So
Right,
why on earth these are the same people that sold my people off and treated them some type of way? So
right,
why are they feeling inclined to even say that word?
right.
See, I'm not cool with that because I look
Nah,
at them.
I mean,
nah.
but
I look
are
at
we?
them.
Are they the same people? Just as the white people of today are the same
Yes, I could.
people
Wait.
that are our
I'm gonna double
slave
down.
masters, that were our
Wait.
slave
Let me
masters.
wait. Can I double down on that? Okay. See, I'm from the school of thought, right? If we don't have no slave masters, we don't support no slave
Right.
masters,
Nah,
no
no, no,
slave
we don't.
traders, and all
Right.
the above, right? That's the era. And if you want to really talk about Pan Africanism, that was the kind of Pan Africanism that I was on. And if you were against the oppressor and the colonizer, you were welcome to the brotherhood of being a revolutionary. All right. So that will let you know kind of the school of thought that I was raised in regards to how Pan African should be, how it should be. All
Right.
right. But they want to water it down. These people don't want to fight no colonizer and no oppressor. So no, they're rejected from the halls of being a revolutionary. They're
Right.
rejected. So Umar, he get his pass revolt around here because you out here making non-revolutionaries being revolutionaries based off the color of their skin. And that's not how it works.
Nah,
That's not how
nah.
it works.
I see we got someone in the space here that got that. We got that Jewish and I don't even how you pretty how. Who are you? Okay,
Swastika. He been
Swassa.
following me. I blocked him because I don't even like this
No, I don't.
propaganda he
I
got.
want to know who this is. Okay, who this is? You want to come up and introduce yourself and tell me what you think about this? And the mic is your mic is hot. Come on, tell me who you are. You sitting in the curve there and everything. I want to know who you are. You gonna come up? Hello.
You talking about Professor Grok?
Is that who that is?
Professor Grok,
Professor Grok? Yeah. Are you gonna come up and say something?
or is that just ChatGPT 5?
I don't know.
Yo, he's
Well,
out here. He out here fishing the intel, getting the intel. So when they
getting
ask,
intel. Yeah,
he's the
yeah.
most controversial people on the app.
Yeah,
He gonna.
yeah. I know that title N.I.G.G.E.R. is getting like, what the hell? Hey, that's an acronym. We gonna say we're trying to introduce the acronym. Never is good, great, ever to be repeated. Okay, be repeated, and we're trying to have some conversation about it. But
Hey, hey,
I am interested in want to know who this person is and everything. I don't like spies, man. I don't like you sitting there.
hold up. Hey,
Should we put him back?
Hey, I mean, you gonna get opportunity. He's gonna come up and say something and
Is
say who you are. I'm going.
it I am God? No, let me stop, yo. Let me stop.
hey, can I make, can I, this
Go
is
ahead, Josh.
Josh. So first, I just wanted to say I'm very, you know, honored to be with my brothers like this. Um, I don't get many often. I don't get many times to be able to be with my brothers because I'm just constantly working and grinding for the family. But I wanted to kind of echo what the gentleman said regarding N.I.G.G.E.R. And and I study a lot of origins, history, and and I think honestly that the nigger or Niger is really began as a mockery because it does mean king, like Nigas means royalty, and it was a mockery because in history, these people who swept us up knew who we were. So it was a mockery that turned through culture into something very negative. And that's, of course, now we're not in that slave culture anymore. And we have evolved, and culturally, because blacks are the kind of shining star and everybody's trying to be like us, has adopted our vernacular and language. And so it's taken on over time different things. But but I like to get to the root of things because the scripture says, "In all you're getting, get understanding." Right? So to get understanding as a way to be liberated from the ignorance of those who try to use language as a weapon. But when you have the understanding of language and the etymology of that language, you can gain and kind of insights into who we were as people when we were taken and enslaved. So we hear people say king, you know, honestly, if you went back, that's exactly what they were calling us, right? So, but it was in a mockery. It was to mock us as we were enslaved, to mock our heritage. So that's why, I don't want to I know that this word has, negative connotations to it, but whatsoever things are pure and lovely, think on these things. So I like, in my understanding, in my search, to understand how things evolve, how languages evolve, how people evolve, and who I am as an individual, and my heritage and my identity. So I don't tend to get, overly excited by someone saying nigger or calling me a nigger, because I have the understanding of where that origination came from. So, I'm not saying that that's not a good acronym to communicate, but I'm saying that in this bigger fight that we have as it pertains to, the middle class shrinking and economic opportunity that we lack, this is really a small thing. Or if I can say, rather than cutting the problem at the root, we're just kind of cutting, or snipping or pruning something that will continue to grow because we're not really solving the problem. So, I'm all for acronyms and quick things to say about, what's going on in the world. But I think I lean more to the purest aspects of what they were trying to, what history has even revealed about my identity, something that was used as a mockery of who we were, actually is a revelation of who we were. If anybody doubts, what I think. So, that's my thought on this matter. And I think that you know, in the future, as we come up to some potential economic calamities that are coming for our people, especially, I think our time could be better spent on doing things that would kind of put us in a place of empowerment economically, uh, you know, to kind of to be who we are, the negus, to be who we are. And I think that is a better kind of a and communicating to the ignorant of the origins of why we even called that. So that's just my take on it. I just jumped in. I saw N.I.G.G.E.R, never is good, great, ever repeat. And I thought I could, hear some interesting insights from my brothers that, I don't get often time to share with or talk with or to hear from.
Well, you know what? I intentionally, and I'm glad that everybody, I'm very proud of you all who are here, who didn't interject or get in the middle of his submission. I'm actually, I want to learn a little bit more about you. Okay, I have my own observation about why, but I mean because I mean before I ask you these questions, see. I have worked in the dominant European environment, and I say the dominant European environment. When I say that, I'm not specifically talking about just people who of white origin. I'm talking about there is a known dominant culture, okay, that are intentionally seek to control and divide us. So the original intent of everything I agree with you saying, but you always got to take in count what was, when evil is sold or the original intent. Once the evil has been sold, okay, the only way you can diffuse it is that you must destroy it from the bottom and allow it to stop no longer being evil, being used. So the the whole entire reason why N.I.G.G.E.R was sold was to destroy our humanity, to make the demographics of people to not feel that they were equal as a humanity, that our humanity came from God versus our government.
Get
So
ready for
I will never,
I
and this is
Ain't
one of the
Your
biggest things when I'm
Black.
working in that,
This is the
I will
podcast that offers
never
healing,
feed
insight,
into
and
the original
epiphany,
intent.
discussing and
See,
reviewing
it's
everything
the
others are
intent.
afraid to
No
talk
matter
about.
where we
It's a
understand, we can teach what you just talk about among your family, among your friends, and as Negro was saying, when we among ourselves, okay, and we
Get
having those
ready for
educational moments,
I
and
Ain't
we really
Your
want to get
Black.
breakdown.
This is the
But
podcast that
I
offers healing,
see
insight,
a lot
and
of
epiphany,
hey,
discussing and
in
reviewing
public.
everything
We
others
can
are
give
afraid to
any
talk about. It's
okay
all about
close
what is
to
right for us. I ain't
seemingly
your
or
new black. I ain't your old black. I ain't your future black. America! I ain't your black. And now, the host of I Ain't Your Black, Mr. Just As Joe and Uncle N.I.G.G.E.R.
You got me like
Man, you learn how to
what your profession is as a father, you're a husband in your household. You pull out you pull out the book, you bring it down. Your children want to know, learn the word. That sounds like something. Or when we at a cookout, we all talking, and everybody didn't stop, and we have a little fire, sit around the fire, and we have a discussion. We can talk, but out in public, we got to nip that nonsense in the butt. I will not give a pass or even at this point in my life, I cannot. Okay, but even though I understand what you're saying, so tell me a little bit about you before. Tell me a little about who you are, what your profession, because I'm curious.
um, I wear many hats. Currently,
Okay,
right now, uh, a BI architect. Work for a large law firm in Baltimore.
okay,
You know, um, I've been, in the ministry. I'm a knowledge seeker. I like history.
okay.
Um, I'm currently actually, and I invite all of y'all as to be part of this movement in this council when I finish the development of it. I'm a coder, a programmer.
Okay.
I'm building, addressing some of the issues that we've had with lack of transparency and the ability of coming together through this,
Okay.
what I call Denali. It's a system that basically leverages, I call it open source economics, that basically is it called a decentralized autonomous organization that is fully transparent and basically provides the members the ability to vote and to execute financial activities that build up, and those revenue that's generated from that goes immediately back to the there's
Okay.
no one
Okay.
there's no one making a lot of money doing this out of my own pocket. I spent so much money, and I'm almost finished to launch it. It's by
Okay.
referral.
Well,
It's by
okay.
referral. Huh?
No. What I want to do, okay, I want to drop some information, but I want to get to the other hands. But
Yeah.
I like for you to. So, do you consider yourself a descendant of American slave? Do you consider yourself black, Negro? Is that your well, who's your family? Are your
Okay.
family
Oh, okay.
from
Yeah, I
this?
can give you. I well, it's. I have a mixed background. I have, of course, indigenous American as a Cherokee, part Cherokee, and I also have descendants of slavery from of course, um, what was deemed at that point Judah in West Africa through the slavery in South Carolina. So my family is from South Carolina, um, and our family goes way back. So I know that.
Okay. Okay.
I
Well,
know.
okay, good. I would like for you to do something for me. I want you to take down this website, freemannation.org. Freemannation.org. Go there, look into that, okay? And let's talk further about it because I want to, because, I'm a freeman. I'm a verified freeman, okay? And what I mean by that, and I like some of your technical stuff that you're talking about, and your services might be very much needed. But we're trying to identify what freemen's, because if Abraham Lincoln had not been assassinated, and this was my education trying to get people to understand. That's why I'm very adamant. If Abraham Lincoln would not have been assassinated, the word free men would have been our terminology because the Freeman Bureau was in place. Okay, it was in place. It was the Democrat. This I didn't even notice. I did some research at the time when Abraham Lincoln was the president. He had a Democrat vice president. Okay, so when that Democrat vice president, okay, came up behind him and everything, that Democrat president wiped down the entire Freeman Bureau ideology, everything, and the manager said he put it on the shelf, put it on, and I got to add this in here. Culturally, we were not economically and astute enough to even know what it was to know and go get it. Let me pause right there because maybe y'all didn't catch it. It's very important what I just said. Okay, there were there was information and stuff that if we was economically astute and intelligently aware, somebody should have went back and said, hold up here. No, wait a minute. Let's go back and get that, okay? And grab that, okay, and pull that back out. But that did not happen, okay? And so I'm very adamant about the idea that the word freeman needs to be something that we need to look at. I want you to look into that. I see the Negro fell off and everything. I guess he didn't want to wait for what I was saying, but it's important that I wanted you to be aware. So freemannation.org. I would love for you to go and look into that.
Is
And
that MEN or MAN?
MEN,
Okay.
freemannation.org and everything. I
And I
think
also did post that in the I posted that in the chat as well.
hey Carl, since you and I are the only verified for our freedmen. And you wanna add to that conversation real quick?
I don't see it. It's not coming up.
Yeah, I would like to add on the conversation on the N.I.G.G.E.R. There's a lot of white conservative was trying to push saying the word without any consequences, and they was trying to uh, make our community bow down to the nonsense that free speech deserves you the ability to say whatever you want. And us black conservatives push back on that to let them know, yes, there's free speech and the government will protect your free speech because you have free speech against the government. But if you're going to disrespect me, you will face whatever consequences at that moment that I am uh, feeling at that time. So, therefore, you have the freedom to speak the way you want, but there's consequences with your speech. And that word, N-I-G-G-E-R, should not be on the lips of anybody outside of the community, especially directed toward uh, freedmen, Black Americans, Negroes, colored, mulatto, whatever you want to call yourself. But to get back to the freedman status, the freedman status was lost and abandoned on purpose by the Confederates. The Confederates who regained power in the South as a result of the Do Nothing Republicans who compromised in 1877 to put their man into the presidential office. So they compromised and forsook the freedmen for political gain. And we see that same pattern with Republicans today. But anyway, I digress. The freedman status, as you said, Michonne, if we were politically astute and when even when the civil rights movement took place and there was going to be legislation to reverse the unconstitutional of segregation, we should never have put ourselves under minority status. We should have brought back the freedman status and said, okay, any legislation that needs to be done, it needs to be targeted to the freedmen.
Absolutely. And that's where, let me take it from there, Carl. You got it. That's why I say that as good as great as our elders, those born before 1960, and all the movement, Martin Luther King, and all the people have done, the word that I want each and every one of you, if you have never applied this word and understood this word, is two words I want you to be aware of. We are culturally, many of us, oh no, and I'm going to just say no, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We are in the condition that we are in because of our lack of astuteness, because our ancestors enter into a dominant society 200 years after a society that was already in place. Okay. They did not have the intelligence, the astuteness, the awareness to know that they were captured in a color construct hegemony. This is the second word I want you to be so astute. ASTUTE. We lack the astuteness, our ancestors, to be able to combat against the things that we was not what consciously aware of, and we were in a hegemony. HEGEMONEY. We didn't know that we had to fight up against the hegemony or hegemony. Okay. Culturally, we did not know that because why? We was not consciousness or I'm gonna say another word. People think we were not stupid. Let me. You hear people say, "Oh, they were stupid," and it's why I hear people call the people in Texas, You know, they called the people
We were not of their culture.
right,
We didn't understand their place.
right. So when I hear people, and I heard somebody call Galveston people when the soldiers came and Juneteenth to free them after slaves had been already free since 1863, but Juneteenth didn't take place until 1865. I think it's insensitive and is a disrespect to say that those slaves that were still on plantations in Texas was stupid. To call them stupid is an insult to them that who had survived up to that point in the condition they were in. Okay, were they ignorant of what had happened? So when those first uh, Union soldiers showed up, and they were all slaves, okay, Union, they all looked like them, and they showed up to help free them. The story is that the slaves from Texas said, "Oh hell no!" Nah. You know, they didn't believe them. They like we free? Oh hell no! Nah. I mean, think about it. They have all they ever been has been working for Mister Master, okay? And you show up on a horse looking like them. I don't know. Okay, I might have said the same thing. You not look at here. You not, but you about to cause us trouble. I don't know you like that. I don't know you like that. Okay, they had to wait and bring back white Union soldiers. Okay, and Carl, you because you from Texas. I want you to really explain that so people say I think it's insulting when we call our people stupid because of certain things. We were lack the astuteness, lack the understanding of the times, lack the knowledge of maturity of knowing what we was up against, but did not make them stupid. Carl, would you agree? That didn't make them stupid.
Oh no, far from that. Far from that. Again, like Joe said, we were not familiar with the culture. If even if you read what the General Granger, the speech that he gave to them, and if you read what took place down in Galveston, that those people were still not free to leave. They had to work within within that region. And not only that, there were laws that those Confederates put into place to keep them subjugated. So government again being utilized against freedmen,
Freeman
even when they were
or
free,
Negroes. Yeah, Negroes.
even well, freedmen,
Yeah, Freeman. I know you're gonna say that.
even though they were free, there were government, uh, state government. State government was used against those freedmen down in Galveston, down in Texas. Have you heard of the Lily White Republicans?
Mm.
The Lily White Republicans drove the freedmen out of the Republican Party
I,
in the early 1900s. You hear Republicans, white Republicans, and these new black face Republicans always getting on black people for voting Democrat. You don't tell the whole story. You don't tell the history that it was lily white Republicans who drove blacks out of the Republican Party in the early 1900s because they didn't want black leadership in the Republican Party.
there you
So
go.
again, it goes back to there was a lot of nuances, and when you fail to tell the whole story, you have a narrative that you're trying to present on your own.
Very well said, and that's why I take no part assimilating close to. I don't care what the history is. Anytime anyone use anything that's close to N.I.G.G.E.R, I don't care unless it's in our company, in our neighborhood, at our barbecues, at our cookouts among our own. If we out in the public and we communicating, I just want you to be able to know if it ain't you don't have a past to say anything close to or relevant to. I don't care about the history of or whatever it is that associate with N.I.G.G.E.R. And that's why I want the acronym to be understood. Never is good, great, ever to be repeated. Okay. Unless you are in our safe area, our community, in our neighborhood, among us. Anyone outside of that, hands off. God darn it. Hands off, Negro. I know you dropped off, but I want you to bring you. I know I said, I hope Negro come on back here. Come on,
Yeah,
come on.
yeah. My phone got overheated. Because y'all speaking, y'all got the wires tweaking today on this conversation because this is a much needed conversation because I don't think this younger generation understands why other groups shouldn't be saying it, why they shouldn't be saying to other groups of people. It's even using this word boy too. You see, I'm from the era where white people were calling Negroes and boys. All
Right,
right. I was the last. See, this is why I say I'm like the last Mohegan when it comes to this stuff because these other generations never saw the negative effects of that. How it psychologically messed up your father when he's holding your hand and they call him a boy. All right. I was about ready to fight
And
that
he a
man at 8
grown
years
man.
old. Grown man. So I'm looking
right,
at this, and then now I'm at the job site at a warehouse with all these other young brothers and young men, and they just throwing each other boy around. And one of the things I noticed is these blank tethers. It's these blank tethers that like to do this nonsense on the job.
right,
Right, they thinking that they're hip, that they're cool. When that white man, that European man, or however you want to slice it, saying, "I got that one black friend," they talking about a tether. That's
right.
my projection. They talking about a tether. Who think
And
is
explain
culturally.
to those. Let's get some clarity since we got
Oh,
this gentleman is grok. I think if I'm thinking what I think this is going on, we having information being recorded and captured. Okay, that maybe I'm just going to say it right now. I mean, the spirit kind of told me what's going on here. See, there was a reason why I think that we would not be able to get up because we're trying to come up with that N.I.G.G.E.R. Okay, and I think the space in the system or the AI was not willing to accept it. And I think somebody overrode the system and allowed us to come up. And so I think we're going to take advantage of that and make sure we give it all the information to understand men. And I'm standing from this perspective. It's a new birth of men, fathers, husbands, uncles, okay, who seeks to get their respect from under color. We are not, this is the title of my book. The whole reason I wrote my book, I am not your black America. The book is a spinoff from James Baldwin when he wrote his book, I'm Not Your Negro. It was a metaphor. He couldn't say it. He wanted to say it, but he wanted to say, I am not your N.I.G.G.E.R. That's what he was implying. That's what he was saying. And so my book today, 21st century, I am not your black. It's a metaphor. I'm not your black, comma, America. What I'm really saying, I'm speaking code switching. I couldn't, I didn't, it wouldn't look good if I would have put, I'm not your I'm not your N.I.G.G.E.R. America. That wouldn't have went over too well. Okay, so I had to dress it up. I said I am not your black, but that karma is in there. I am not your black karma, America. It's a metaphor for all of you that don't understand it. What I'm really saying, I'm not your N.I.G.G.E.R. karma, America anymore. It's a new day, new attitude. We men, husbands, fathers, uncles, born after 1960, we are coming from under that color construct. This is the reason why I'm proud to say that I am a verified free men. And the reason I say that because I'm comfortable that if Abraham Lincoln would not have been assassinated, the Freeman Bureau would have been in place. The terminology Freeman would have been the proper terminology that would have been the American Freemans would have been the terminology being used, and we would not even, we would be talking about, we will be having our inheritance. We would have been having our birthplace in place. We would have been only walking in our birthrights in the United States of America. But we got bamboozled. We got sent off. I'd say we got that rabbit hole. You know, our culture people took that rabbit hole. They didn't know they didn't know that they took the rabbit hole because they was not what astute enough. They didn't have the intel. Okay, they didn't have the knowledge that we have today. But we in new times now. This is a new day, and so I hope Grok and whoever getting all this, you're getting all of this, and I want this to be entered into the system that it's a new day, that our men, husbands and fathers, not our women, we are not being led by our women. Our men, husbands, fathers, and uncles is now coming from under the color construct. That hegemony, H-E-G-E-N-O-E-Y, no longer is a mystery to us. We are much more astute what has happened to our ancestors, and we seek to move differently moving forward. Thank you for allowing me to put that in there. But I hope that was gathered and everybody received that. Go ahead, Nick.
I got to push back just a little lightly on a couple of things.
It's okay. It's all good.
Okay. The Freedmen's Bureau did not do our people any justice, right? They had one European white men that were heading that, and they stole money from our people. Second of all, they were actually giving them the N-word contracts, if you get what I mean, the N-word contract. And when it came to the railroad, and when it came to certain things, they were like renting out Negroes like farm tools. Just to kind of give you a context of why I'm very anti the Freedmen Bureau. I understand the purpose and stuff of the nature, but when I look at the history, and I even write about it in my book a little bit in the detail, and how it was exploitative to our people. I looked at it more as an integrationist institution, more than an institution that was empowering us. And we have to be very mindful in the future that we create institutions that empower us, not integrate us. So if you get what I
mean. So, that is, so I've already, without going into, I've already addressed the concept. The concept of Negro was something. I mean, the concept. Now, something in talking to and listening to, I understand. Its spirit of Negro is like almost 12 years of slaves. Okay, when the person, a true story, a person from New York was captured. He was free. Okay, and he was captured, brother, sold into slavery. Very, very highly intelligent, very knowledgeable. He played the violin, and a very, very intelligent man. But here he was, went out to a party. That's why you got to be careful hanging out with folks you don't know who they are, and you drinking with folks. Everything he got comfortable among the European folks. I always say you gotta be careful. I bet these guys were Jews. We don't even know that, but I bet they were Jews. Okay, yeah, he went out and hung out with them and everything. Do y'all know the story? You know what happened in 12 Years a Slave?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So he went out.
I actually got
once you go.
The book
tell the story and I come back. Tell the story what that all about.
Oh, well, I mean, he was hanging out with some people and what actually he met up with those guys, I believe, right?
Right. He did.
He met up with those guys and they coerced him to come out to this party or event or whatever. And, basically he ended up, I think they must have spiked his drink or something, but he wakes up a slave. This man, this is a free brother, you said, in New York, and he wakes up a slave because there was a time where they were going and they were recapturing and capturing free melanated folk and putting them back into slavery. And this man went through 12 years of hell, focusing on I mean, basically the whole story is about how he got sucked back to slavery in his 12 years during that time. And he finally, gets back to his family and stuff. But I mean, I was in awe because I just, that wasn't something that I ever thought about. That
That would happen.
in addition.
Yeah. And the fact is, it was profitable. That they got paid selling him.
Wait.
They,
Can we add in more context? I
but
just need that.
Go ahead, Negro.
No.
Yeah.
Before
So
Negro, hold up, Negro. The only reason I want to add this before you get going, okay, because I want to talk about that Negro. Why he was there, they were slaves, but they were Negroes. So they were Negroes, okay, and he rejected them. Okay, this is the reason why I brought this up. I want to make sure before you get going, he thought he was better than them. Okay, think about what he was going through, but then he had to learn how to what assimilate. Okay, he realized he had skill set that the other Negro slaves did not have. Okay, and
Like
he
reading.
reading. Okay, also he had the ability to build and think outside the box. He was much more astute than they were. Okay, I'm taking this somewhere so you understand. I have watched that movie 5 times. I'm a very, very detailed person about certain. I fell in love with the fact that that brother navigated from. He knew he wasn't one of them. Okay, but he had to assimilate as with one. Remember the sister that was trying to get with him. He didn't want to dishonor his wife, right? It's some deep stuff that was in that movie. They didn't let it, and basically he fingered her and got her off. Okay, just like baby, I know. All right, I know you want to get with me, but
Yeah, he was taken from his family,
yes,
family of which he had a wife.
a wife, right, exactly. Okay, but he was being there so long, say, he had the women slaves that were, I'm gonna use the Negro slaves that women was like finding him what he was unusual. He was not like the others. He had skill set. He spoke well and everything. And so why I bring that up, I do understand the Negro spirit. And I'm gonna lead it to this before I go there. Do you remember when he was almost at his last? He almost was about to just break and be. What happened? He started hearing those Negro what songs, and they were singing. When they were singing, and he heard that, he realized these Negroes wasn't, they knew they was in captivity. They knew they was mistreated. They knew that hope one day was going to come to them. They knew that they were just going through this for a second. He heard it in the song. He didn't even read. He had never been listening to the songs. He had always just been doing. He messed around and heard the song that the slaves were singing, and he realized these slaves was singing songs of one day of what? One day we shall come from under this. One day we will be free. And he started singing the song, and I'm going to say, I believe the brother, what happened after that? His freedom came along after that. And he had the much more astuteness to know how to work it, because you know how he got in trouble before. He gave it all. He gave that man that money, gave him it. And then the other guy came and asked him, the white indentured guy who was a slave with him, went and told on him. And remember when the master came, and he knew Solomon was the slave. Joe, did he not? He knew that Solomon was the one that had gave the guy the. But did you see
Absolutely.
how Solomon played ignorant? Like he did. Did he go? Come on, man! Y'all got to clown with me. Solomon became a slave. He acted like a ignorant. Yeah. What, boss? I don't know what you talking about. Who? I would. he 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 went and played the role because he knew if he would have fought up, if he would have bucked up and said, "Yeah, I gave him that damn money. Yeah, I told him to do this," yeah, he would have been killed. Am I right or wrong? That man would have killed him on the spot. Okay,
Absolutely.
go ahead, Negro.
He played the
Okay.
part of Uncle Tom for
He
a
played the
second
part of
right
Uncle
there.
Tom. Not Uncle Tom. No, not Uncle Tom. Sambo. He played the Sambo role.
There you go. There you go.
He didn't play Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom. Sometimes we confuse those two. No, he played the Sambo, the save himself because that master knew. He knew that Samuel had done it. But if Samuel would have pushed up, like if he would have pushed up and act like he was equal as that master, he would have been killed. He would have been killed on the spot. Go ahead,
Okay,
Negro.
I want to give some context to a little more. So he was what they would consider a free Negro or a descendant of free Negro,
Right.
meaning his and also during that time frame, this is where you get bounty
Right.
hunting from,
Mhm.
the origins of it, where they had the Fugitive Slave Act. Give you more of a Negro historical lens on this conversation. We're called the Negro historical investigative narrative.
I knew you were gonna love this.
Painting
Go
here.
ahead. Yeah.
So
You riding in your lane right now. Go ahead.
yeah. So what we're talking about here is the Fugitive Slave Act, and this is where people can grab any type of free Negro, free people of color, etc., and bring them back into servitude down south. And that was some of the things that they were doing. And it was a form of kidnapping and human trafficking, right? See, people may not want to look at it as such, but these are human trafficking, not twice, but almost 3, 4, 5 times generations and over again, right? To kind of give people more of a historical lens about this. And I think his name was Jonathan Northup, right? This I'm going off the head. Because
No,
I
that's
think
right. You got him right.
yeah,
Jonathan Northup. Yes.
more, yeah. So this, you could tell I got the books on the shelf because I actually remember these things. The dates I'm a little fuzzy on, but the premise of the story, yeah. So we have to keep in the context too that also if he demonstrated that he could read, if he demonstrated these type of things, he would also be put to death too. So that was some of the reasons why he acted ignorant, why he was trying to play, one would say, play the game, if you get what I mean. The origins of that play the game narrative that we hear about. So those are just some of the things I just wanted to throw in there. The Fugitive Slave Act specifically, origin of bounty hunting, specific stems from that. And we have to keep in mind that to enforcing and it comes to policing has always been rooted in slave patrol. People have to look at it in the guise of white dominance and white supremacy. So I just wanted to throw those things in there to kind of give you a little bit more of a Negro point of view. But he was a free Negro. And yes, there are different classes of free people because you have free people of color, you have free biracials, you have free Negroes, and I think you have free Native Americans as well. The admixtures or some of the freedmen. So these are different. All that slaveocracy. I forgot the specific of the slave system that they had in America at that time frame, but that component of the slave system.
You said
Yeah.
The word N.I.G.G.E.R apply to them all equally. Okay, separate them from, oh, you are a free Negro, or you are this and that. When they applied that word N.I.G.G.E.R, okay, they were applying that stand. You were not equal to. You was not meant to be anything but less than that I have control over. So that's why I don't want to play with any reference to, close to, added to, whatever it is when it comes to the NIGGER. No, the acronym for that NIGGER is never is good, great, ever to be repeated. And we need to take a posture like that. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I just want to close out with this. We have to keep in mind during that time frame, the people who were free, you can kind of look at them and view them as to today an equivalence of being the boule. He was a boule little Negro rather than be treated because of the color of his skin. So I just want to throw that
No,
out there
I'm actually
because
glad
the
you said that.
context.
That was actually spot on. He would have been considered bougie. You wanted bougie. You know, and to keep it 100, they probably saw, oh, this bougie. They got this.
Was it considered that because that's how he thought, or was he considered that because that's what people do when they see someone have more than them, is they go ahead and drop labels on them?
No, no,
That
no,
I
no.
that
It
don't
was
was
think
more
it's
or
that,
what
less.
he
that was
thought.
his
No, no. It was. I'll address that. It was more or less the class. He was in a different class. He was
yeah.
not a part of the slave class. He was the part of the freed class. So he was a freed man. He was a freed Negro. He was a freed person of color. These were the different terms that were used, or the different labels and names that were used for Negro people or their descendants who were liberated and free during the slavery era. I'm that he had a right to be bougie or not, but he was like, hey, I'm not like these guys. I'm not a slave. I have my slave papers right here. And we got, oh, that was the other thing I wanted to touch on. And I'll show they didn't even care if you had your freedom papers, if you want to really break that down too.
Right.
They will burn the white supremacists and those Confederates.
That's
Will
exactly
burn
how
on
the movie
site.
went.
That was
Yeah, they'll
exactly
burn
what
it on
happened in the
site.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, burn it on site, and then they will put you on that plantation. So that's why the Fugitive Slave Act was so damaging, and it was destroying Negro families. That
But
was the premise of what they
this
were
is a
doing.
good, healthy conversation. This is the type of conversations that I wish that all these other spaces, okay, when they get to talking about a whole lot of nonsense, these are the type of healthy, liberating conversation. I'm hoping that each and every one. Matter of fact, let me just get a sign, all of you. Will you all agree? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Have this been healthy? Has this been a good, healthy conversation? I mean, can I get any thumbs up? I see one thumb. Anybody else? You mean tell me? I only got one thumb. I get two thumbs. All right, three, four thumbs. All right, I mean that's more than half. All right,
Yeah,
even
let me say
five
this.
thumbs. Okay.
Let me say this, B. Shorn. The guy name was Solomon Northrop,
Yes.
and Negro, you brought up a lot of good points. That fugitive slave law made it no longer a state issue, but it became a federal all over the United States. So it was not just relegated to the South, but when they put that law into place, it made it a federal issue because they were making citizens uh, comply with a law to capture supposedly fugitive Negroes or fugitive slaves. So that's a very good point. And that's one of the reasons why I always say the descendants of the emancipated, because not only the slaves were emancipated, but those free Negroes were emancipated also from certain laws that certain states had in place to restrict the movement of free Negroes. Now, keep in mind, emancipation is the government releasing people from slavery. Manumission is individuals releasing people from slavery. So those are two different
is either high or low. What you know. So this actually, I just told you what happened when I was green. Now I'm gonna tell you what happened.
That's a profession. When now you even use it from a scholar.
Up in here. Can we turn the temperature down? And I sit on. This is the to relieve her because and the we've been dealing with Angela for a very long time. I said, yeah, she was here before. Ever do that crap with me? I'd already not the capacity of what she's doing is wrong. So to quickly understand, they count. realize that all the times that I've always just considered you to be a sellout. She a sellout and this and that. And I never really heard what you was saying. That is that all this time I was telling her who I was and what I was doing. And your behavior can get you in trouble. It's the same.
Get ready for I Ain't Your Black. This is the podcast that offers healing, insights, and epiphanies, discussing and reviewing everything other. Get ready for I Ain't Your Black. This is the podcast that offers healing, insights, and epiphanies, discussing and reviewing everything others are afraid to talk about. It's all about what is right for us. I ain't your new black. I ain't your old black. I ain't your future black. America! I ain't your black. And now, the host of I Ain't Your Black, Mr. Just As Joe and Uncle N.I.G.G.E.R.
We got a mean fight.
Man, you love
When black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough.
Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other.
Get ready for I Ain't Your Black. This is the podcast that offers healing, insights, and epiphanies, discussing and reviewing everything others are afraid to talk about. It's all about what is right for us. I ain't your new black. I ain't your old black. I ain't your future black. America! I ain't your black. And now, the host of I Ain't Your Black, Mr. Just As Joe and Uncle N.I.G.G.E.R.
We got a mean fight.
Man, you love causing trouble.